All right, let's cut through the bullshit. This isn't Twitter drama. This isn't cable news static. This is escalation, and it is moving fast.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?
So here's what changed. The White House now says 49 Iranian regime figures were killed in the opening phase. That number is coming directly from the administration. It has not been independently verified, but it is now part of the official narrative. The Pentagon says U.S. forces have established local air superiority over key zones.
The combined impact of these strikes, swift, precise, and overwhelming, has resulted in the establishment of local air superiority. This air superiority will not only enhance the protection of our forces, but also allow them to continue the work over Iran.
In plain English, we control the skies, just like I told you last night. They are also reporting over 1,000 targets struck within the first 24 hours. President Trump stated that U.S. forces have sunk 10 Iranian naval vessels. That's his statement, reported as stated. He also said this campaign could last 4 to 5 weeks. And he did not rule out boots on the ground. That's not random talk. That's positioning. That's him preparing the public. When you hear 4 to 5 weeks, this isn't symbolic. This is shaping the battlefield, control the skies, hit their ships, take out their leadership. This is definitely chaos, controlled chaos. So it is structured. So tonight, we are not losing our minds. And right now, the breakdown is simple. This is deliberate, it is organized, and it is moving fast. And when something moves fast like that, you don't just watch the bombs. You watch the ripple effects. And one of those ripple effects may be showing up in Europe. Reports, including from 2CTV, that multiple people were stabbed earlier today in Edinburgh, Scotland. Initial reports say 3 people were injured and a school was placed on lockdown. There are claims about the suspect's background. As of this recording, Police Scotland has not released a full verified statement confirming those details. So this is developing. But here's what's important about this. When global tension rises, pressure builds at home. Europe is already dealing with economic stress, migration, debates, and political fractures. If this is confirmed, it's not just a crime story. It is part of a bigger pattern. Stress shows up somewhere.
Being obvious that UK interests were under imminent threat, it took Iranian missiles hitting allies in the Gulf before he finally made a decision. And even after that, the Foreign Secretary said this morning that the government has put limits on the actions of our allies operating from our bases. Unbelievably, in his statement today, the Prime Minister still cannot say whether he backs the strikes or not. Today, the President of the United States has taken the extraordinary step of rebuking the Prime Minister publicly, saying he took far too long to grant access. We are told that this dither and delay is because of concerns over international law.
Britain is arguing out loud in Parliament. Prime Minister Keir Starmer faced sharp criticism over how the UK is handling this crisis. This wasn't routine back and forth. This was pressure. Conservative MPs are demanding clarity
because of concerns over international law, but I am afraid that explanation simply does not hold. International law didn't prevent our allies from clearly and unequivocally stating whose side they were on. You don't need international law to say whose side you're on. It has not prevented British governments in the past from supporting strikes which we knew to be right. As the Shadow Attorney General has said, if the doctrines of international law are unable to restrain Iranian terrorism and mass murder, if they tie the hands of democracies while forcing us to stand and watch Iranian atrocities, international law will have failed. It will have become a fundamentally immoral system of law.
If escalation is real, they argue Britain cannot afford to be vague. They want stronger alignment with the United States and Israel. Clear direction, less hedging. Right-leaning voices are tying domestic security into this. Borders matter. Energy matters. Public confidence matters. And now they are implying leadership isn't projecting strength. Inside labor, there are cracks. Some worry about appearing too aligned with U.S. military action. Others worry about economic fallout, energy prices, cost of living pressure. Starmer is balancing a political tightrope. Strategic reality, the UK is not neutral. Britain hosts U.S. assets. It relies on shipping lanes. Provided by who? Who does the security for those?
Our Navy benefits Europe more than it benefits the United States by keeping free trade routes open. I mean, that's a benefit to the world provided by the United States Navy. When you see that Navy ship,
it's exposed to energy shocks. When Parliament starts arguing during escalation, that signals strain. So here's the question. Is Starmer shaping events or reacting to them? Now here's my take. I think he's trying to appease people who don't want to accept what's happening. Maybe he doesn't fully accept it himself. But I'll say this. It's good to see there are still people in the UK who understand what a liberal democracy is, and that freedom isn't free. It never has been.
Nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports, they're attacking hotels, they're hitting not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly, they're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us. It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics. The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics.
Back in Washington, Secretary of State Mark Rubio briefed lawmakers from both parties today. The administration says they will present their case to all members of Congress. This definitely matters because Congress is asking very hard questions about scope, authority, how far this goes. Rubio's position hasn't changed. He argues Iran's missile program and regional influence are long-term threats. So this debate isn't just overseas. It's happening all over the halls of power here. This is what a republic looks like. Arguments, oversight, pushback, debate.
There will be no American boots on our ground. This is not Iraq. This is not Germany. This is not Japan. We're going to free the people up from a terrorist regime. And the goal is not only to help the Iranian people to chart a new destiny, to make sure no matter who takes over in Iran, no matter who it is, no matter who the people pick, they cannot become the largest state sponsor of terrorism. They can't fuel Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. They can't have ballistic missiles. They can't have a nuclear weapon. They will be out of the terrorism business. So the people will pick. As to the people, choose wisely. We want to be your friend. We'd like to have a good relationship with you going forward, but that is up to you.
Senator Lindsey Graham is pushing for a bipartisan joint resolution tied to what a post-regime Iran could look like. Did I hear bipartisan? Hello, as an independent, this pleases me. Let's hear what this has to say. He's referencing the Iranians' opposition 10-point plan as a framework, which I have mentioned this before if any of you have paid attention to me. Translation? This isn't just about dropping bombs. People are already talking about what comes after. 1. End clerical rule and establish a republic. 2. Free speech and free press. 3. Release political prisoners. 4. Separate religion and state. 5. Gender equality. 6. Independent courts. 7. Protections for minorities. 8. No nuclear weapons. 9. Market economy protections, which is a fancy word for socialist market economy. I've talked about this before. 10. Peaceful international relations. That's not small talk. That is post-regime structure. I will try to put a full link in the description for this 10-point plan for anyone who is interested and wants to learn more. This is their plan, guys. It is what they're going to do. But let's go in and dive into party responses. Democrats like Senator Mark Warner are raising concern about troop safety and mission clarity. Fair. Care about our troops. I care about their safety and mission clarity. You do not go into a combat zone without a clear and objective mission. Period. You do not send American lives at risk without a clear, defined objective. End of story. Hopefully Pete Hegseth from his time in the military knows what fighting a war like that is like, and as such, we are being smart about this.
That shit was close, dude.
Hunter, what's going on right now?
Getting shot at by single shot Freddy.
Who's that?
I have a feeling he's a blind Afghan man somewhere between the ages of 60 and 75 years old. And he likes to scare the shit out of us with these single shots that he takes. We've been getting real close, so we're all hiding right now.
How come you think he's blind?
Well, because he hasn't hit anything yet.
Others argue Congress should have been formally consulted under war powers. Republicans like Speaker Mike Johnson and leader John Thune are backing the strikes, calling Iran's actions an unacceptable threat. Guys, they said they were going to build nukes. Like, I'm not arguing it. They said they weren't going to stop enriching, and even if they did tell us they were, they're lying. Prove me wrong, because you can't. Their entire religion encourages them to lie to foreigners. Don't talk to me. They're extremists. They follow the extreme elements of their religion. So if you're not extreme and you're in Islam, I'm not talking about you. Then you've got cross-aisle voices like Josh Gothamer supporting the strikes from a national security angle. And independents, hi. We always argue about everything, so let's see what the polling says. Maybe we're agreeing to something here. Polling shows we're a little more skeptical, which does make sense. And I'll tell you my skepticisms here soon. Because independents, we question everybody. That's not a weakness. That's just accountability. Now let's address the Iraq comparison here, because I know this is where everybody's going to go with this. People say this could turn into Iraq, and it is fair. So here's what they forget. In Iraq, we removed the regime and dismantled the entire military structure. We disbanded the Iraqi army, and that created a power vacuum. And when you create a vacuum, something fills it. Usually it's chaos. Iran is different. There's the IRGC tied directly to the regime, and there's the regular military, the Artesh, older than the revolution itself. This is the Persian military here. Great history, great culture. There are reports part of the regular military may be distancing themselves from the regime. That's a party fucking moment right there. Let me tell you guys what. I love it. I've been saying it from the beginning. We will not do anything unless we believe that there's regular army forces in Iran who are willing to help. We cannot be boots on ground here, guys. But those reports need verification. And if it's true, it changes everything. If internal forces drive change, that is Iranian boots, not American boots. And here's where I stand. If regime change must happen, it must be driven by the Iranian people. If it's not, you are talking occupation. And the American people are not signing up for another endless ground war. Sorry. Not going to happen. We've done that. We know what it costs. So the logic isn't endless war. The logic is simple. Break the regime's grip. Let internal forces decide the future. Don't dismantle the entire state like we did in Iraq. Because if you rip everything out at once, you don't get freedom. You get chaos, and chaos doesn't help anyone.
That was fucking close. That was
That's how we were. Like, you always see in the movies or everybody else, it was like push through, push through, push. We didn't push through. We just sat in the shit until we were the last one shooting, typically.
So that's where we are. Structured escalation, political pressure, uncertainty inside Iran. This is very fluid. By the time this is edited, something could change. If it does, we adjust, we don't panic, we think.
All right, so just real quickly, one other thing I do want to cover. This is kind of after my initial recording, so I just kind of wanted to hop on here before I release the video. It does sound like Hezbollah cells are getting active inside Bahrain. The Saudi Arabia military is deploying their military in order to help stop it. They already do have bases there from what I was researching, but if you don't follow my other social medias, I am on Facebook, Aaron J. Smith. Look me up. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well, but I do post a lot of updates as I can on Facebook as they come out. It's a lot quicker than these videos, so by all means, follow me on my other socials. You guys have a good rest of your day, and please like, subscribe, follow, and share. Thank you.